Good morning. This is part 2 of my recurve, fire hardened recurve day. And I want to tell you what happened with this bow. I had bought a bunch of staves from the guy down the block, and I either removed the bark with a draw knife and a cambion and brought it down to a growth ring, or later on I said, let me try and steam them, and I steamed it. And I steamed it for like 45 minutes, 50 minutes, and I softened up the bark and the cambion. I was scraping it off a little easier. Then I had a delivery come while I had one of these in the stave, one of these staves in the steamer, and an hour and 15 minutes went by when I got done talking. I went, wow, I got a stave in the steamer for an hour and 15 minutes. When I pulled it out, I realized that extra hour and 15 minutes, I was able to peel the back off and have a pristine back, just like in the spring. So I had all these staves done, either brought down to a growth ring or pristine back because I peeled them off. So I had the staves in the corner of my garage. I said, you know, I made 2 recurves, one with a big curve, you see the video with the big curve, and then the other one, since the big curve had too big of a curve, I wanted to make one with a smaller curve and see how it worked out. And I had a bow blank that had really narrow tapered limbs, which you really don't want to do on a recurve. And it was like a longbow speedbow design that I have. I said, I'm going to make a recurve out of that. And I did. And it was a lot of tweaking to get the limb aligned and all, because they were so thin. But I finally got it. And it's, you see my chrono test, right? My chrono test, it was shooting super fast. So I said, all right, it's the end of hunting season, I'm gonna make myself a nice solid bow for 3D. I'll give a recurve another shot, you know? So I grabbed the stave out of the corner, looked at it briefly, and it looked really good. And I said, okay, this was the stave I picked. I drew a design, and the design is basically from the fade outs, I went down 6 inches and carried that thickness, whatever your thickness is. This happened to be 1.5 inches, and I carried it down 6 inches past the fades on each side. And then from there, I tapered it down to a 1/2 inch, okay? And actually what I'm gonna tell you to do is taper it down to 3/4 of an inch. And then trim it or use a draw knife or whatever it is to take it down. Because once you sand it, you know, you're gonna sand your marks out, you will have, you know, you can take it down to that 1/2 inch or whatever you want, leave a little more meat. You can't, you know, you can't add meat, obviously you could just taper it down, all right? So I left it a 1/2 inch and sanded it, and I knew it would be fine because I put horn tips on. These are buffalo horn tips. Okay, see the buffalo horn tips with the string grooves cut out? So anyway, I cooked this on the fire hardening jig. Everything was good. I took it off. I showed you how nice it was fire hardened through and through. A couple of hot spots that when I tiller it, they'll lighten up, they'll come off. And I noticed there was some brown on the edge. And what's that brown on the edge? It was the cambion that didn't, you know, the bark was gone, but the cambion wasn't all peeled off. And then I looked at the tip and I says, oh, it looks like I could separate that. So I got my pocket knife out and I pulled it apart, and I was able to peel off most of the cambion, like, you know, like when you peel off the bark in the spring, you know? And I'm like, oh, that's messed up. That's messed up. I did all this work. It's going to be ruined. So I peeled it off, and I used my pocket knife to take it down. Then I went out in the garage, and I got a cabinet scraper, and I scraped a little bit. And I had 2 little tears. 2 little tears here and on this side, a little tear. And I says, I can't take it down. I don't want to try and take this down to a growth ring. You know, it's got the curves. Let me sand it out. I'll sand it the best I can. Let me see if I could sand it down. So I sanded the whole bow down, and I got rid of those tears pretty much. It was like a little tiny dimple, like a dimple, little depression here and a little depression here. And I says, I know what I'm going to do. It looks good. I just don't want any problems. So I had a nice piece of rawhide from twistedstave.com, and it was 35 inches long before I stretched it. You know, after you stretch it out, it gets longer. So what I did was I put tape here and here, even from the center, to cover that 35.5 inches. I soaked it, stretched it, rawhide backed it, trimmed it, and it's going to be durable. It's going to work. I got to just tiller it now. So what I did was also, I glued on the buffalo horn tips. I took down some material on the limb, and I used rubber bands and glue to put this on. Today, I took it, cut the string grooves in. I used 120 grit sandpaper, and I sand. A lot of people don't do this, but I sand the rawhide, because the rawhide is fairly thick. It's not like paper thin. I sanded it. I kind of tapered the edges. And then after the 120, I took 320 and I spent some time with the 320. Then I take 4.0 steel wool and polish it. And this is what I got. It looks really nice, okay? So I kind of wanted the thickness, and I rounded the edges and everything. Before I tiller it, I wanted everything set the way it is, because I didn't want to change anything by changing the thickness. Okay, so here it is. I don't know if you can see or not. It's got that back set in it, a little bit of 1-inch back set in it. It's got the rawhide on it, and it's really cold today. Today's January 20th. It's Inauguration Day, and I'm going to get a chance. I'm going to either tiller this later in the house or go outside and bear the cold. It's frigid out. It's 20 degrees outside. Even the deer targets, even my 3D targets look cold outside, okay? But at some point, I'm going to tiller this and have a bow. And it should be a real dependable bow. And because I only went down like to the midsection, with the rawhide, it should be still really fast and snappy, because all this limb here has no rawhide. It's just natural, and it's fire hardened. See the fire hardening? So that's the plan today. Tiller, shape it, and then one day we're going to shoot it and chronograph it. Okay, this afternoon is tillering day. I'm going to tiller this bow that I removed the cambium, and we have rawhide backing on. I marked where the bend started, measured from the string, bottom of the string groove to that mark, and then I measured the fade outs, and the fade outs are even from the center, and we're going to see how it looks. And already we got an initial nice bend. I guess sometimes you get a little lucky. It's hard to hold this and show you. Here we go. We actually have a nice bend here too. We're going to go down another couple inches. Went down another inch. So hard to hold this and show you at the same time. Okay. We got a little more of a bend on the inside than we do on the outside, so we can remove a little bit more here. See what we got over here. Okay, here we go. And this looks pretty even here. It really does. It looks pretty even. Okay. Maybe a little over there. I'm looking at the string grooves and looking how the limbs are twisted. And they look pretty good, except I got to stop and make this groove a little deeper before I continue. Made the string grooves a little deeper and removed a little material off that side. So hard to show you on camera. If I could just hold it like this. Okay, look, we got a nice image going on there. Okay. See what we got going on here. It's crazy. We really got a nice bend going on here too. Okay, going to drop it down another inch. Looking at the limbs to see how they are. They don't look half bad. Okay, if anything, okay, I might have to put a shim under here. When I go out, I'm going to level this out. It seems like the back is a little higher. I got a little shorter long string on. And that bend looks really good. It looks like a mirror image. See if you can see this here. Okay, it looks like we got a little bigger bend here. I'm going to get a tape and measure it. Okay, we took off some material. Let's see what kind of bend I got here. Got a very nice bend. One inch. Got a very nice bend here. 1 inch. Okay, just to see how much weight we got. This is just nothing more than a reference mark. We're at 17, which I would bring down to the top of this 16.5 to see what kind of weight we got. Okay, we got 36 pounds. 17, we got 38. Okay, we're not quite at the point where we got to put a string on yet, so I have to remove some more material. But the bend looks really nice, so we're going to just evenly remove some material until we can get a string on it. $34. Okay, we're almost at the point I'm going to look for a string. Have a 6-inch brace height. Everything is even, nice and even. I'm going to pull it down some and we're going to check it out. Okay, we got a beautiful, nice bend going on. Got a nice bend going on here too. Let's see what kind of weight we got. We'll put the scale on. Okay, we got 37 at 26 inches. That's exactly what we're going for. I'm going to go take it outside. I'm going to shape the handle, and then we're going to check it out. Well, I went outside in the cold, set up the sawhorse and the belt sander, and cut this with a hacksaw. Have a radius riser and a crown shelf I cut. Okay, sanded it. It could use a little fine sanding, but the bow's done. I'm going to put a string on it, check it out again, and then I'm going to take a couple of shots in the house. Okay, check it out. It's all done. 6-inch brace height, 37 pounds at my draw length to 26.5 inches. Today's January 20th. It's my Inauguration Day bow, my Inauguration Day recurve bow. I may make a red, white, and blue string for it. It's going to be my 3D bow. The limbs are nice and straight. I put string grooves in. Take some shots here with it. Super fast, super fast. I don't know what this one's going to chronograph at, but it's super fast. I'm going to take one more. I mean, it's cold outside. I wasn't going to go out in the snow and shoot, so here we are in my living room. Okay, check that out. Nice group, right? Let's just take a quick look. Okay, not bad for a spur of the moment in the house there. All right. Thank you for watching. Watch my other videos on Bare Bow Joe. Make a bow. Go out and shoot. Every day you wake up is a good day. Enjoy life.